Haru and Yuki. Yuki Haru. Haru and Yuki. Yuki Haru.
The Ox and Rat Podcast, also known as Oars. What is good, people? It is the Ox and Rat Podcast with me and my co-host, Perry. Perry, you want to say something to the people?
How's everybody doing on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon on the East Coast? How you doing, Satsuki?
You know, chilling. I wanted to start the podcast with this, but it's kind of disrespectful, but I'm going to do it either way. Perry, if you want to join in. We may be off a little off key, but we'll see. Who I smoke, green.
Oh, yeah.
Who I smoke, green. No, who I smoke, Toru.
Oh, hey man, that pack is coming in fierce,
bro. Toru is. When we were talking about where Akito, I was like, where Akito is going, and I think you said, what did you say last week? Because I forgot. But I think you. Go ahead.
I think I would say like she probably headed towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a collision course, man.
Yeah, we didn't even know it.
Yeah, and then when I seen Toru, because we always talk about the parallels between Akito and Toru. When I seen Toru also go outside barefooted, I was like, oh no. Like that, I just cringed a little. I was like, "Oh shit!" And then when I seen they gave us that shot of Akito just running around, and then they confirmed that she was outside the Soma estate, I said, "Oh,
yeah." Nah, I can go with the Akito got some legs on her because she went all the way from the estate to Shigure house barefooted in rain with a knife. Somebody didn't stop her. That's crazy.
She went on a whole world tour. Like, and Shigure's house is not close to the Soma estate, from what I know.
Yeah, it's a little walk. Because, like, I remember on the New Year's episode, they had to, like, go up that big-ass hill, do a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah. So, her going from that point to this point, especially being Akito, who is a sickly character and, who probably doesn't get exercise like this, for her to go that distance, bro, Akito just went to shits. It's that simple.
I guess so.
But
she was going to everybody who's changed, man. What changed? Kureno started this, and Toru.
Yep.
She got a list, man.
Yeah, it's gonna get bad with Toru. We'll get into that a little bit later, but shout out to the people watching, the 8 viewers. We got Sedarius in the chat right now. He said 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 episode, my favorite episode of this final season. Is this your favorite episode of the season, Perry?
Nah.
What was your favorite?
What episode do we have this season? I think I like.
The first episode, pretty much, we started with Akito and Rain fighting. Rain gets introduced. I don't think episode 1 would be your favorite. I think out of all the episodes, either the episodes with Rin and Haru, or episode 2 might be your favorite. Because that was the one where Shigure, let loose and told Akito, or we learned from him that he was sleeping with Rain.
Yeah, I know. I maybe like episode 4 more, or the Machi episode more.
Okay. And that's another thing I gotta mention too. But before I do that, let me read some more. QRW6, shout out to QRW6, said, "What up, Satsuki and Perry? This episode was deep. Let's get it, because Satsuki might want to watch a playoff game." QRW6, it's scary how you know me. I'm literally watching the game as I talk right now, so yeah, I do want to kind of speed through things, not to rush, but get through things quicker than we do usually. Hopefully we can go under an hour. Yandere Shiki said this was a very dark episode, and we got King or something Mac. Can you please do a reaction to Hisoka versus Crollo? I know I'm always talking about Hunter, but I've already read all of that in Hunter x Hunter, so I would never do a reaction to it.
Oof.
But I think I lost what I was going to say. Doesn't matter. Let's get to the start of it. This episode centered mostly on Kyo, and I don't even want to really call it a conversation between him and Toru because it was really Kyo centric. He didn't really let Toru talk until like 17 minutes into the episode. So it was mostly Kyo going over the trauma involving Kyoko and some of the backstory that we got between those two characters. So I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, did this episode give you more insight to Kyoko?
It definitely gives us more insight, kind of like her mannerisms to other people, because we kind of seen how she was with Hana and Utani and Toru, but we always wonder like how did her and Kyo actually meet, and like what was their like connection? Like was it like some chance thing, or was it like something where like they knew each other like somewhere else?
Yeah, you talk about like how they first met, because that was the one thing I was joking about, and I always kept asking, how did these two actually meet? We know they met before, but what sparked them talking? And we learned that the reason why they talked is actually because Kyoko stumbled upon him and asked him about his hair color, which I thought that was a good icebreaker, because I felt like it would have just been weird had Kyoko just struck a conversation with this little kid talking about serious topics. So for it to be like, you know, them having similar hair color, and her asking her, yo, do you dye your hair? Because it's kind of weird to see a little kid with orange hair like that, you know. So I think that was a good icebreaker. And I actually think that's one of the first things Utani said about Kyo, was she said something about his hair color and mentioned how it favored Kyoko. I think that was in had to be episode 2 of the first season. So cool that like the hair color is the first thing people mention about Kyo. But
Yeah, I also go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was about to go to something else.
Okay, I also like how like Kyo realized that his name with Kyoko's name was kind of similar, and he didn't want to tell her that. So that's another thing.
Yeah. He was kind of embarrassed about that, and that's another interesting thing about it. Kyoko never learned Kyo's name in all their interactions, so it's kind of funny how they talk so much, but Kyoko doesn't know like the basic thing about him, because she's always called him, I think the first thing she called him was brat, and then it was like squirt or something like that. So
yeah, he was like, I don't know, what's a squirt? You a squirt is a squirt.
Yeah. So it would have been funny if they did, Kyo did reach out to her. I wonder how Kyoko would have reacted seeing Kyo grown up. Like, how would she address him then? Because then, you know, you see him taller and whatnot. You can't really call him a squirt. So I think that would have been an interesting, like, what if scenario.
Yeah.
But we got a little more. We expanded on the moment of Kyoko's death. But we learn more, but we still don't have the full story. But it may be the full story. It may be like that's all there is to it. The reason why I say that is because when Kyoko gets hit by the car, Kyo says something very specific about Kyoko's last words, which were, in his mind, "I'll never forgive you." And we all had our doubts about whether or not Kyoko said this, or whether Kyo imagined this. But what Kyo said specifically was, that's what it sounded like. That's what he said. So I guess my question is, did Kyoko actually say this? I guess it's the same question before. Did Kyoko actually say this, or does this give more credence to the fact that Kyo may be imagining things?
I think it gives more credence to Kyo imagining things, especially when we see like their relationship. Like, I don't think Kyoko would have that kind of like response to seeing Kyo again. I honestly think it may have been like, "I forgive you," or like maybe it'd been something like, "Oh, I never forgot you," something like that.
Or it could be something to where he didn't hear her out fully, and it was like, "I'll never forgive you if blah 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 blah," like something like, "If you don't protect Toru," something like that. It could be something like that, because, you know, after he heard whatever from her, he ran away. He didn't stay at that spot. So maybe it's just that he didn't hear Kyoko out fully. So that's why I guess I want to know if that is going to be it for that story of her death, or if there's going to be more. Because honestly, they could leave it ambiguous and leave us to our own devices to come up with a conclusion. I think that's fine. I wouldn't be mad either way, but interesting question. So yeah. But now we know the details surrounding her death. It wasn't that Kyo was directly involved in that he literally killed her, but he was a bystander, and he remained a bystander. He had the opportunity to help her and reach out, but he didn't. So what are your thoughts on that?
It's so tragic. It's such a tragic thing because the way Kyo was like raised up and like belittled by by kind of like his mother and his dad and even the Somas himself, it kind of gave him reservations to even actually save someone that he actually like cared about, and that's kind of tragedy of Kyo's story.
Yeah, he had his opportunity, and I think it's like in the context of all Kyoko's death, it's a split second reaction. So it's not something he has time to think about, and it's something that we know he regrets. So I'm pretty sure he would have done things differently in that moment, but it was really an instinct really on his part that he's thinking, if I touch her, I may transform, and everybody will know that I'm not human, which is something he's very insecure about. So it's one of those things where he has culpability, he has fault, because even if you aren't the person to kill her, because you could have saved her in that moment, I think it's understandable why he feels guilty about it. But at the same time, he's not the person to actually kill her. He didn't drive that car. Who was whipping that motherfucker like that in daylight? What were they drunk?
I have no idea. They were trying to get to work quick.
What I want to know what was going on with Buddy, because he was swerving way before he hit Kyoko. So like, what the? And what was Kyoko doing?
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say that. How did Kyoko don't hear that? Because everybody else heard. Like, I don't care how zoned in you are. Everybody else heard that shit. Like,
she had the beats on and shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
what,
I guess
the AirPods. I'm like, bro, Kyoko, you don't hear that maniac whipping that bitch? Because everybody heard it and ran away. Kyoko's like, nah, nigga, I gotta go to work. Fuck all that. Oh man. Yandere Shiki said, if I was him, I wouldn't care if I turned into a cat. Say that, woman. Okay. Because this is something that I said during my live reaction. First, again, I know it's obvious, but I feel like it needs to be stated. Again, it's a split second reaction. It's not something he had time to think about. So I think it's unfair to like be super harsh on Kyo for not saving her, because he didn't have the opportunity to really think. I understand, like, some people will be like, if it was me, like, that would be my gut reaction to reach out for her. But it's also like it's been ingrained to him that he's not a human and whatnot. So for him to like try to protect himself is understandable, at least for me. So and then also think about it like this: had Kyo transformed in that moment, his life could have been over. And this is what I mean by this. When Yuki transformed in front of his friends when he was younger, it was a big incident, but they kind of were able to sweep things under the rug because it happened, I believe, in the Soma estate, and the people involved were little kids. So Hattori could have, suppressed their memories and everything was fine. They could move on. Had Kyo transformed in the middle of the street in broad day with all of those adults surrounding them, where the Somas would have to like travel all this distance to where he was and try to suppress people's memories. First of all, that wouldn't be possible. You wouldn't be able to pinpoint this person saw it, this person saw it, this person saw it. So then the secret is out in the open, which would give them an excuse to lock Kyo up. Like, they already don't like the cat Zodiac. They don't like the cat spirit. So that would have been a perfect excuse to say, okay, since you let the secret out, we're going to lock you up forever. That would have been a perfect excuse. So I actually think that if Kyo transformed in that moment, his life would have been done.
Yeah, it's definitely what we've done, but it's just so man, it's a bad situation. It's such a bad situation because Kel said himself, it was like I took my own selfishness over your mom's life, and I hate myself for that.
Yeah,
but that's the kind of person I am. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, you see how much this guilt eats at him. Not even just in this episode. I mean, we've got hints of this since season 1, where he goes to her tombstone and Hana notes that he feels remarkable regret there, and we didn't know the reason why. We could speculate, of course, but now we got the whole picture, I think. So it's something he thinks about a lot, and to the point where he had to suppress his memories and replace that guilt by pushing the responsibilities onto Yuki. And I guess that's the next place we'll go. Now we got more context to the fighting between Yuki and Kyo. So how do you feel about Kyo saying that I gotta make Yuki the villain?
All right, man. When he said that, I immediately thought that meme was like the person on the bicycle driving around. They put a stick in the thing.
That damn Yuki.
Yeah. Because like Yuki literally just be chilling, and it's like niggas all around just putting their blame on him. Hatsuhara, and then now Kyo. You be like, I just be like how you be in this story.
I just be chilling.
Like, I just be chilling. Like, who are you? You took everything from me. Who the f- are you?
That's the funny thing about the it's not really even a rivalry, just the fighting between these two characters. Obviously, because Yuki kept things going on, some blame is on him. I'm not going to put every single thing on Kyo, but Kyo started this. Like, he's the one. We understand the reasoning behind it. I'm not saying that Kyo's a bad person for this. We get it. We get why he put the blame on Yuki. But we got to be real. Kyo started this because Yuki was a kid, was trying to, reach out, be friends with Kyo, and then he's met with, fuck you, I hate you, you're the rat, you stole everything from me. And then Yuki like, bro, I'm just trying to vibe. What are you talking about? And then you grow up, and then he puts more blame on you, which had nothing to do with you, at least in in Kyoko's death. Because there is something else that Yuki was involved with, which we'll talk about, but it's like you have all of this blame shifted on you when you were just doing nothing. Yuki didn't do anything for this.
And the hypocrisy of it all is like, Kyo should understand how that's like when somebody put blame on you. You're the cat Zodiac. Like, you get like this looks from everybody for no reason yourself.
Yeah. It's just a matter of deflection. It's kind of like when you've been treated a certain way, while you understand it, to try to, like, I guess, distract from it, you'll deflect and put that same amount of hurt on somebody else. And I think that's the case with Kyo. It's just he could not handle the weight of all of this, around him, because his mother, overhearing his mother and how much she pretty much regretted giving birth to him, and that led to her suicide. And you go to Kyoko and her death, where you could have done something but you didn't, and you feel guilty because of that. So Yuki was the fall guy for Kyo. Unfortunate, but that's just how it ended. Where do you see their relationship going? Like, from this point on?
I think it'd be a lot better. I think the fact that, like, Kyo is kind of like realizing that, like, damn, man, I'm putting all this on Yuki and he didn't do a thing. Like he kind of like realizing what Kyoko was saying to him when he was younger, and finally understanding what that actually meant for him.
Do you think they'll be friends?
We kind of,
friends, as in you actually can see them saying, "Hey, you want to hang out? Okay, yeah, let's go to the movie," something like that. Actual friends.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I think they'd be more cordial. I don't know. I can't see them just be like in the season. Hey, man, you want to do a double date? Nah, I can't see that. I can't see that.
Yeah, I don't see them being friends either. I see their relationship being one of understanding, where
Mhm.
all the misconceptions are cleared up. Kyo, because he's saying all this stuff to Toru, but he's never said it to Yuki. Yuki doesn't understand why Kyo hates him, so
Yeah. And,
that
it's
has
funny
to be understood.
because Yuki just be defending himself. Like, imagine kill like, all right, it's all Yuki fault. I'm gonna ambush this nigga in his house. I'm gonna take care of this nigga. And then Yuki like, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, so I think that conversation needs to be had. Some of the stuff that he was saying to Toru has to be said to Yuki because he doesn't really understand why it started. It's just, you know, he knew the hate existed. Well, he can kind of speculate just because he's the rat zodiac and cat, kills the cat zodiac. But that's like, we know that's like just an excuse, really. That's not the real reason why Kyo has hatred for Yuki. But I think Kyo has to say the same stuff to Yuki, and they get on a mutual understanding. And while I don't think they'll be friends, they won't be enemies anymore. And I think that's enough. They don't have to be super cool with each other to the point where, they're like you said, having double dates, hanging out, playing 1-on-1 or some shit. They don't got to do all of that. They just got to respect each other, I think.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Because I think it was season 1 when Tori was telling Kyo, "Hey, I think you guys are being closer, being friends," and Kyo just snapped on her. It's funny because if you put Yuki in that situation, he would be like, "Yeah, you're right." Like I don't think he would like have that same visceral anger as Kyo had.
Yeah, I think Shigure said something in season 1. I don't know the exact words he said, but I think he kind of took a jab at Kyo, saying, it's kind of exposing the hollow hatred that he has for Yuki. Like, are you scared of getting to know him? Something like that. And
Hey, I'll be right back.
Okay, I got you. But when Kyo gets confronted on his hatred of Yuki, I gotta go too. Hold on, we on break.
Okay, I'm back.
I'm back too. I had to go. We had to go at the same time. We had to go at literally the same time.
Yeah, I heard. I was like, wait. I thought I had like a window pop up. I was like, who's talking right now? I don't know that voice. Is like an ad popping up somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
yeah, I think what I was saying, last point I left off was when Kyo was confronted on his hatred for Yuki, you can see how paper thin it is. It's just like he's grasping on to straws to hate on him. It's not really making any rational sense, but he has to do it because that's how that fuels him to live. It was at a point where he had nothing really to live for, and that hatred for Yuki was the only thing that was driving him on. So yeah, that's pretty much how things ended up with him.
And it's crazy because I remember, like, I think what maybe it was season 2 when like he was telling I guess he's talking to the Somas, and it was like, I hate the rat zodiac. I kill him and then kill myself afterwards. I was like, if I were you, I'd be like, oh my god, what's wrong with this kid?
He's an animal.
Like, they keep calling me a monster. I don't know why. Well, you acting like one.
QRW6 says this gives the opportunity for Kyo and Yuki to settle the score with each other. I think they'll have a conversation, but I would like to see them also fight too. Like, it's one of those moments where they just like, hey, let's settle this with our fist. I wouldn't be too mad at that. If Fruits Basket actually did that and then they made the fight, like they just stepped up the animation for that specific fight, I'll be like, yo, go for it, dog.
And that's why we have 13 episodes, man. All the budget going to the Goku and Vegeta fight. We in the rooftop, the canyon somewhere.
Oh no. Oh, that is. I'm glad you mentioned that. By the 13 episodes, because now I feel like part of this is people coping, but it may be some validity to it. I've got some more talks from manga readers who have been saying that although this is going to be 13 episodes, it will still be able to fit the story within it, because some people are saying that they will be able to capture the main story in these remaining episodes while cutting out what they call side stories or whatnot. Now, but the only issue with that is, first, I wasn't hearing all of this when 13 episodes was mentioned the first time. I feel like people are starting to settle, and they're trying to be like, rationalize things like, okay, we won't get the full season, so they can kind of cut out things here, which is fine. But I don't know if there's still a lot to be left out because we're getting 13 episodes. That's that's still wasted. That's still a wasted opportunity for me. So I still think that I would have to check out the manga if they conclude things with this last season, because the side stories and all of that, I still want to see. I'm invested in all of these characters, so it's not really any wasted things that I don't want to see.
Hey man, this is where this is where Ritsu get his shine at,
bro. Is Ritsu a part of the side story or the main story?
Hey man, he part of the story. That's all that matters.
Oh man.
Like that means sometimes the side chick is actually the main chick.
Ritsu definitely ain't that. Ritsu not even a side chick. Ritsu just like, shit, I don't know. Ritsu just like the chick that you may holler at when you like run out of all options, like the last resort.
Yeah, relax, man, relax.
But about the whole side story thing, like if you're calling the student council part, if you're attributing them to part of the side story, then I feel like that's disrespectful, because I really care about that. So I guess we'll see. I don't think we'll notice it, but the manga readers will let me know.
Yeah, I would love to look for the side story too, just to break it up a little bit more, because I think I was saying like last week, man, just like so much.
Yeah. So what? We got 5 episodes left.
Yeah, 5 episodes, man. 5 episodes. Yeah.
All right. So how Kyo was feeling? He outright asked Toru, does she love him? And later he says that he pities her for loving him. And eventually he runs away and whatnot. I think the reason why I think the reason why Kyo feels so adverse to receiving love from Toru, I think we talked about it last time. It's kind of like, what's that movie called with Kevin Garnett and Adam Sandler? What's that movie called? Something Gems?
Yeah, you lost me.
You don't remember Kevin Garnett? Kevin Garnett? It's the meme where he says, if I couldn't have it, like, why would you show it to me?
Okay, see, I know the meme, but I never seen the movie.
Okay.
Or yeah.
I forgot the name of the movie. It's like Hidden Gems or something like that. But the movie, yeah, that's the scene I'm referencing. It's kind of just like,
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. That's what it's called. It's kind of like, I think Kyo is in this space to where if he doesn't think this relationship will bear fruit in the future, or it'll just be fully realized, he doesn't want it. If he thinks that it's going to come with some type of grief, he doesn't want to be involved with it. I think that's his whole mentality behind it.
I also think it's the fact that like he kind of feels, I think in his mind, like liking Toru and being related with Toru, and like her having him as number one, he feels kind of guilt about it, because it's like, I feel like I'm replacing your mom and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's a matter of survivor's guilt too, because he said that he's the one that always gets to live and he just runs away every damn time. But all these people are falling. His mother, Kyoko, and then he envisioned Toru would meet the same fate. So I think he just doesn't want to get involved with her because he's fearful of what could happen to her. So yeah. Deep stuff right there. QRW6 said side stories can be OVAs. That's true. But sometimes a lot of times with OVAs they'll have like nonsense episodes. But yeah, like I said, it's a wait and see type of thing. So, I guess we'll just wait until the end of the story, then evaluate everything. King Bayo said Kyo's a way better character than that mid kid Momiji. Oh, bad comment right here. Bad comment. I think it was interesting that Kyo became interested in Toru because of Kyoko's personality. Like, it's kind of the same thing of Utani, because remember she was interested in who Kyoko's daughter was, because she had this vision of her like, oh, the Crimson Butterfly. Like, I wonder how her daughter must be. She must like be a delinquent too, and then she'll know how to fight and all of that. And then with Kyo is like you see this nice person and you're like, I wonder how her daughter laughs and things like that. So
yeah,
like it's kind of weird that Kyoko was a wing woman for her daughter all these years.
Yeah, it's kind of more tragic because like this one time Kyo actually tried to like, all right, let me actually go see her and like see Kyoko and Toru, and then it's when Toru get lost.
Yeah, and speaking about that, that's when Kyo makes his man's promise to Kyoko to find Toru when she's lost that day. And I think it's so interesting that on the same day that well, I guess it was the next day, but the same event in which Kyo feels that Yuki stole his purpose is the same day that Yuki finds his purpose to live. I like how that contrast.
Yeah, I was saying that too. It's like a parallel because like when that event happened, Yuki kind of found his salvation and something to live for, and Kyo like he got the opposite. He got despair from it. Like he thought that was his way from like to help out, but it just like became despair for him because he found like Yuki took that as well, and it was like more reason for him to hate Yuki.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, obviously, it was added fuel because it was Yuki who did it. Because when Kyo seen the hat, he immediately knew that Yuki had to be the one to help Toru. It's added fuel because it's Yuki, but I feel like Kyo would have felt like a empty feeling if it was somebody else. I feel like he really wanted to save Toru in that moment because that was like the first time I believe that Kyo like took the initiative to do something like that, to where because he's just a lot of times he just like aimlessly does things, and his rivalry with Yuki is fabricated and whatnot, but this is the first time he's like thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. He makes the promise and whatnot, and then it's just gone from him. So I think even if Yuki wasn't a person to do that, he would still feel bad, even though that Kyoko gets reunited with her daughter, because he's not the one doing it. I think he would have felt bad about it.
That's crazy because it's for Kyo. It's probably like my one time where I actually do something for somebody else. I'm not a burden or I'm not like hurting them some way. I can finally get back to them and it's snatched away.
Yeah. And then the interesting thing about when Kyo sees the hat, he calls Kyoko a traitor and pushes her, and he like runs off. But the thing that Kyoko says to him before he departs is, I'll hold you to that promise another day. So I like that moment because it kind of gives Kyo the out that the promise wasn't broken, it's just extended to another day. So Kyoko was able to, obviously Kyo didn't receive it because he was a kid, but Kyoko gave Kyo the opportunity to redeem himself in a way. Like, don't worry about it today, you'll get your opportunity, I'm sure, in the future. And the future is now. He still has the chance to protect Toru. So I think his promise will be kept just in the current time.
Yeah. I think I agree with what you were saying about like how it kind of extends farther than just that one moment with Toru getting lost. I think like overall, just her losing her mother and like her being like kind of like aimless, even though she don't show it. we know that like Kyo was able to step up and be that her new rock in her life.
Yeah.
Her new number one.
Yeah, he has the responsibility now. Well, no, I guess you can call it responsibility. He is the person that Toru cares about the most, and I think he just has to accept that that's what it is. He's still trying to deny it. He's still trying to run away from it, but eventually he's going to have to come to grips with that's just how things are. And he's trying to force Toru into the position to where she doesn't forgive him and then he could be let off the hook. But I think Toru's going to hold him accountable and, he's going to step up to the plate. It's just that he may need to get his ass whooped before that happens. Maybe Yuki give him the hands one more time, beat some sense into him. Maybe the opposite happens. But either way, Toru's going to need somebody because she ain't beating Akito. I know that.
I don't know, man. Toru been training, man. She been working on the right jab. I was telling Darius in the fruit basket chat, man. That right jab might be what it.
That right jab knocked the fucking. All it did was knock dust off of Kyo's shoulder. He laughed at them off. Man,
that was season 1 though. Now she got that pent up anger now.
Okay, she did look the angriest I ever seen her in this episode.
Oh yeah, nah, it was wild when she was like, "If my mom did say that, fuck her." Wait, what? That was wild though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rebel. That gives you that goes back to what Kyoko said to Toru, which is it's okay to be selfish. Because that's a moment where Toru is letting her own feelings spill out. A lot of the time, she'll try to be considerate of everybody else. And in that moment, her saying, I won't forgive you, Kyo, would be considerate to her mother's wishes, at least from what they believe that she said. But Toru's like, I'm my own person, and I have my own desires and wants. So this is what I want to do. She kind of resented that Kyo was trying to push her into this ultimatum of forgive or don't forgive. So, I like that Toru's going out and saying, nah, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Don't try to make my decision for me. It's funny how Yuki woke up and had to chase Kyo immediately. That nigga he woke up to this shit. Got out of bed and gotta chase Kyo.
Yeah. He's like, Toru, go inside, be safe, and he had to chase Kyo. Like, oh my god, I'm tired of this man running away.
Yeah. And then he went the wrong way. So what do you think is gonna come out of that? Are they still gonna meet up or like what's going on?
Maybe because I don't think Kyo comes back until like whatever the incident with Akito happens. Maybe Toru gets stabbed and like she go to the hospital and then Kyo comes back.
Oh, you think Akito gonna stop with one stab?
I mean, she only stabbed Chrono once.
But the thing is with that is she got it off. It was just like a burst of anger. With Toru, it's not like it's nobody to really stop her. Nobody's there to stop. Like Shigure, I don't think Shigure is there. He could come because the last time we seen him from the last episode is when he had that conversation with Rain. So if Akito got there, Shigure could get there. But there's nobody to stop Akito. And then there's also the fact that Akito truly hates Toru. It's different with Kureno. It's just like, Akito was kind of lashing out. But with Toru, she fucking hates Toru, and she gets to pin all the blame on Toru for the bonds breaking. So, oof, man,
I don't know, man. Toru might hit it with a talking no jutsu and man stand down. Because I don't think they really had a conversation yet.
They haven't.
Yeah, like an actual conversation.
But the thing is, in the state that Akito's in, will she be receptive of that? Do you honestly believe that?
Man, I feel like it's better to get. Well, Akito's kind of weird because like I think you rather get her when she's kind of like I feel like this is her most vulnerable state she has ever been. So I think this is like the one moment where you could like talk to her and like she really understand. Because before she always keep like a cool collected face.
Yeah, it's just the fact that she's emotional right now. Maybe they could get something off, but I think either way, it's not going to end pretty for Toru. She's going to get hurt.
Nah, I'd be wild if she kills her. Just like she kills Toru. That would be wild. I can't see it happening, but that's wild.
Yeah, I think that would be a little too far. It's just too much that, Toru's value to the story is too much for her to die in a moment like that.
Yeah. 'Cause we have 5 episodes. Man, so you gotta like deal with that. That's probably like the whole episode. Aftermath of that, that'd be 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
All I know is that if that were to happen, I know 2 motherfuckers that's going to put Akito's head on a spike, whatever it takes. Utani roll up with the whip, Hana on the back. Oh no.
That's a keto pack in the air, man. Like,
bro, they are not like, and that's the thing. I'm just saying them 2. It's a lot of people that love Toru. Besides Momiji gonna step in, get him some licks.
He might. He got the curse no more, so he might step in now.
Oh, for Toru, he definitely doing that.
Yeah.
Sidarius said Kyoko's best mom. She took care of Kyo, Toru, Hana, Arisa. Yeah.
Let's be careful now. She didn't take care of Toru like we thought she did, man. She whatever. She did a lick. She had to go.
She was absent for a little minute, but she was there for the rest of her life. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, man. I'm saying right now. Kyoko like those NBA dads that don't be there the entire life till the kid get drafted.
Hey man, that's nah. She was, man. You can't say that. She was there for the rest of her life. I can understand. She was gone for like some years, man. Hey man, give that to Kyoko, man. Give that to Kyoko.
She was dropping by and see her. She changed. She said, you still here? Fuck, man. Damn.
Give that shit to Kyoko, man. She deserves to be. She deserves to have some bad spots in her life. That was one of them for sure.
One of the moments I love is when she had her hair tied up like Toru. I was like, oh, she's just like Toru with the pigtails.
The twin tail. I was up there screaming. I was literally screaming. I said, "There!" I pointed at the screen. I said, "There it is. We got him." I was hyped. I can't read your name, but
it's Korean, so I can say that.
Yeah, I can't read that. So, this person said hi.
Yes.
Hello. QRW6 said, no matter how good you are in a fight, but a knife or a gun is always a big equalizer. I'm scared big for Toru. Regardless of the knife situation, when I seen Akito in episode 1, she kind of dispelled any notion that she can't fight. Because when she put Rain through 3 doors, lifted her ass up in the chokehold still, and slammed her to the ground and took no damage, I said, yeah, she's just built different. It's
so crazy. Like Akito, for like the majority of the series has been like considered a sickly person, who's always sick, can't do nothing. But like this season, she has been perfect health. Like, what guy is her?
when she gotta beat somebody, oh yeah, she in good condition. She in good condition. She good.
MVP form.
Math Pie Hanan said, I'm here, but I'm unable to comment for work related purposes. All good. Appreciate you showing up, Hanan.
We appreciate it, man. Just being here is more than enough.
Yeah. Yandere Shiki said they might skip over the rest of the accident in the manga, the husband part. Okay. Is there anything? Okay, I do want to say, I think the reason why Kyoko resonated so hard with Kyo is because she's a stranger. It's one of those things to where, since Kyo feels the way he feels about being insecure about not being a human and having a hard time building relationships with people, I think relationships where it isn't formed out of pity, because that's the one big thing that's been consistent in this season in particular. One that's not built out of pity, and one where it's not built because of obligation. I think that's really important to Kyo, because Kyoko just approached him and was talking to him, and I think he even said that he felt like he was forgiven by her for existing. And that just shows you how deep he thought about that relationship. And I think it means more because she was just some random person on the street that struck a conversation with him.
Yeah, I think it kind of gives more value to like his own self-worth, because usually like when you have like everybody around you saying like, especially like your quote unquote family members and people who know you are all like hating you and everything else, it's good to have someone who has no relation to you, don't know you at all, see you for actually who you actually are as a person.
Yeah. And you know, this is also the idea of like, because a lot of people value their friendships more than they value their family ties, and some people will be like, you know, how can you appreciate your friends more? And it's just the idea that with your friends you are choosing them, and these are the people that don't need to be by your side. Of course, family doesn't need to be. We know there are absent parents and people that are estranged with their family, but because you are family, people always have the sense that you have to be close together, but you don't have to be close with strangers. So I think Kyo values their relationship a lot more, you know, because he's had Kazuma since that whole incident with his mother, but I don't think he fully appreciates his relationship with Kazuma because he sees him as a father figure. So he feels that, I'm not saying this is how he feels, but maybe it's just like the sense that this person is my dad, so they had to act in a certain way. But when it's people that don't need to be a good person, or they don't need to talk to you and they do it anyways, I think it means more.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that Kazuma just let Kyo, like, I don't know, I feel like he's got some professional help.
It's like, nah, let's go to the mountains, boy.
Yeah, it's what I'm I don't blame it on Yuki. He ain't say nothing about this. He's like, no, that's not how you supposed to do it, Kyo. Or give some like wise words. He's like, oh, I guess so. You don't blame him.
Hey, shit, fuck it. Fuck it. That keeps you going? All right. No. What was funny to me about Kazuma is when Kyo was talking about how he met the stranger, and then he didn't pry for more information. I'm like, bro, he's talking to a random person. You're not going to ask him more about that? He just all right with it? He's like, I met this person. They were kind of weird. I'm like, if my kid says that, I'm asking them like, wait, what? Who is this person?
What do you mean weird? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? Because nah. Is there anything else you want to add though? Because I think I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about.
I think that's everything, to be honest.
Yeah. So what we have to look forward to is the confrontation between Akito and Toru, which we think will end in a pack. Not that Toru would die from it, but I think she's going to get severely fucked up. Maybe stabbed, something. Oh shit! Everything animated. EA showed up and said,
yay.
"Oh look, another podcast about Fruits Basket." What up, EA? Sorry you had to come to the closing remarks of everything, but appreciate you showing up nonetheless.
Appreciate it, EA, man. Appreciate it.
Last thing we have to look forward to is the confrontation between Yuki and Kyo, which I think will probably be my favorite part of it because it's something that's been brewing since episode 1 of the series. We've had this conflict between these two characters, and I think it may be resolved next episode, so I'm actually excited to see that and what will come from how they'll treat each other after it. Whether they fight with their fists or they talk it out like reasonable people, don't matter to me. I think they'll come to understand it, so I want to see that. But appreciate everybody who showed up. Everything animated, Yandere Shiki, Math Pi Hanan, QRW6. Still can't say your name. You know who I'm talking about. Korean characters, got you. I think I said Sedarius. King Bayo, Justice. I don't think I got to your comment, Justice. He said, "What's up, everyone? Appreciate you showing up." Mac. Is that everybody?
I think so.
All right. Again, thank everybody for showing up. But this is the Odds and Rap podcast, and we are out.
Peace.